Good morning, all of you. Today we are going for. Yesterday I told you that information technology, but I'm not satisfied with that. Okay, so that's why again I'm going to take this Information Technology Act of 2000. Okay, so this Information Technology Act, what it is and why it is so necessary and what are the reasons, all these things we have to discuss. Up to now, up to 2000 year, see that up to 2000 year, as the computers era was not developed, people they used to go for handwritten and offline. We can say that it is nothing but offline. That is taking into account the papers, okay, writing on them, storing those papers for coming periods. So all these things they have done. But whenever these computers they came into existence, whenever the computer era it started, okay, then people they used to go for that because it is quite but natural that when we go for a new thing, when we see a new innovation, people they'll be very crazy for that. So in the same way, people they used to go for this and they used to think that whether we can do this by the help of computers. And so many people, by that time so many people they are opposed with that. The introduction of computers is nothing but creating unemployment problem for all the people, for the youth. All those things they have taken into account. But thing is, computer is nothing but a machine. It's a man-made machine. And for operating that computer, okay, you have to go for a person. And when you compare the computer mind and the human brain, computer brain and human brain, it is natural. Human brain is natural, but computer is nothing but an artificial this thing. Okay, you'll have blood vessels, okay, and nerves, bones, everything, and you will have a brain, and the IQ of the brain is more. When you compare this computer, when you take into account the computer, okay, the IQ is very very low. Okay, the main advantage of this computer is it won't differentiate anyone. Whether he may be a prince or he may be a pauper, it will look after only one way. And the other thing is, it will fasten the work. Okay, 100% work a computer can do in a very fastest manner. With that, okay, people they used to go for computer and they used to learn about that computers and they can able to understand later on in the later stages. But at the same time, okay, even though we are having some advantages by computer, there are some disadvantages also. Because when you go for computers, automatically you will do some crimes. There will be a chance for some people to do crimes through computers, thinking that no one will catch them. It is completely an idiotic thing. It is completely an idiotic thing because, okay, when there is a bad, there will be a good. Okay, don't be of that opinion that when we do a crime, okay, people they won't see, they won't come to know about that. At one day or other day, at one day or other day, the people they will catch that black sheep and they'll come to know the resolutions or the solutions for the crimes whatever they have done. This is about the thing. So information technology, okay, act in 2000 year. Okay, actually the foundation stone it was occurred in October 17th 2000. Okay, and from there gradually one by one, step by step it increased and it became a part and parcel of today's life. Without using the system, without using the computer, okay, without going for this knowledge, we cannot able to survive now. It became a part and parcel of this. See the peculiarity. Now, what I am doing is I'm taking this video classes, and this video classes also through a computer only. I'm doing through a computer, sitting in my house and doing this job. It became a part and parcel of life through this system only. Whether you may call that as a system, or whether you call that as a phone or smartphone, or whether you call that as a laptop, whatever it may be, we are taking into account all these things and we are doing our things. So it became a part and parcel of our life. You cannot say that it does not become. So we are using this information, and we are taking into account the help of the technology, and technology plus information, whatever it may be, we are using, and we are getting some results, and whatever we want we can able to derive. Okay, we can able to derive. So that's why this Information Technology Act came into existence. And the foundation, it is on 17th October 2002. And see, when the globe is increasing, when the whole world is increasing, and when the whole world is improving, okay, sitting besides and behind, it is not a fun. Some people, they'll say that world is good. Okay, world is good, no doubt at all, no doubt at all. But thing is, we must also find, when all the people, when they are going and using these things, why don't we, okay, what is the bad thing that we have done, what is the wrong thing that we have done, we can also use that. So we started using. And when you take into account the Western countries, more than 50% of the people are Indians. If all the Indians, when they return back, there are no Western countries, no development, nothing at all. Because we are doing our services, we are giving our services like anything. At whatever time you want, we are ready to give our services. Like that, we are doing our level best. So information technology, it became necessary for our Indian people. So that's why, according to Indian environment, Indian strategy, we people, we are taking that and we are using that. The Information Technology Act 2000 was enacted on 17th October 2000 in India. This is the first cyber law. Okay, we are having so many laws, like civil law, criminal law, like that. We are having national law, international law, like that. We are having. In the same way, cyber law, okay, came into. This is the first cyber law which is established to regulate the information technology or computerized activities in India. See, there must be some act. Okay, there must be some act to regulate the activities. When there is no act and when there is no yardstick, okay, people will do different things, whether it may be good things or whether it may be bad things, they'll do. So there should be a yardstick to control and regulate the people who are using these computer activities in India. So that's why this Information Act of 2000, it came into existence. Okay, this act is formed based on United Nations Commission on International Trade Law. United. You can call that thing in abbreviation UNCITRAL. UNCITRAL. The full form is United Nations Commission on International Trade. Okay, trade law. Okay, which has the name of providing equal legal treatment to the users of electronic communication in United States, US. Okay, so this is the aim of this UNCITRAL is, okay, to provide equal legal treatment. There they are having some law. So not only that, we have to give an equal legal treatment for this electronic people, this electronic communications in UAS. However, the main purpose behind the introduction of Information Technology Act in 2000 in India is to boost and encourage e-commerce or electronic commerce. You see, people, they are not satisfied with this commerce transactions, commercial transactions or commerce transactions. Something is more, which we can do in a very fastest manner. With that, the commerce and the commercial transactions, they have taken a drastic step, drastic step, and they entered in this electronic. Whether this electronics whether this electronics is useful for for ourselves to do this commercial transactions or not. So this electronic commerce transactions and electronic transactions and other activities concerned with business, trade, and commerce. Okay, business, commerce, and trade, whether we can use that. If you take into account, in science, we are using these computers. Okay, we are using these computers, and at present, the robots are used in various hospitals. Okay, and this electronic media or electronic this thing, it is useful in other subjects. So why don't we use, we are doing some business, we are doing some commerce, we are doing some trade, so why don't we use that? So when you take into account this commercial transactions, that thing, it became the e-commerce or electronic commerce. And to strengthen this electronic commerce, this Information Technology Act of 2000, it came into existence. History of this. This is the history of information technology. To boost and encourage electronic e-commerce, electronic transactions, and other activities concerned with business, commerce, and trade. IT Act, I did, don't be of that opinion that income tax, it is Information Technology Act of 2000. IT Act 2000 helps the government to prevent the misuse arising through the use of electronic mediums. You see, people, they are purchasing the systems. Why don't we purchase? Why don't we purchase like that? The government people also, they are going for this electronic, I mean, commerce. Okay, e-commerce transactions, and they are, and okay, they have purchased and they have installed everything, but there should be a person to know that how to use that. There should not be misused. So in order to control, in order to regulate, okay, the malpractices and misappropriations and misuses, this Information Technology Act came into existence. Okay, so it will help the government in eliminating the misappropriations and misuses, and make them to understand, and they, make them to understand and tell them that this is the way to use this. Okay, so there must be some person guidance. So this Information Technology 2000, it provides that to the government people. In short, it can be concluded that the IT Act 2000 consists of various provisions relating to e-commerce, electronic commerce, e-governance, electronic governance, how to govern, okay, how to mend the people, e-governance, e-record, electronic records, e-record, because we used to use the paper previously and we used to store them, but you know that with the passage of time and with the climatic conditions, okay, those people automatically, they will spoil a lot. Okay, and for by germs also, the information whatever you stored in papers. Excuse me. Okay, so they will go away. So that's why when you take into account and this like e-record, automatically electronic record, there is no chance for them to spoil. Whenever you want, you can keep them and you can retrieve the data or the information, whatever you want. So e-record, electronic record, and e-signature, electronic signature, and digital signature. This is very, 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 very important. Okay, suppose if you want to go and if you require something, you will go to a shop or you will go to an office and you will ask those people, and those people you have to mean fulfill so many formalities, and you have to keep your signatures. So keeping all these signatures, it will take so much time, wastage of time. So instead of that, if you take into account a digital signature, the same digital signature is sufficient for all the things. And in this context, I'm going to give a good example. Okay, suppose if you take, this is the examination time. Suppose if you take the hall ticket, there the principal signature with the date must be written. How many hall tickets he will sign? Just tell me. When you come across 300 or 400 people's hall tickets, okay, okay, the hand of this principal will go to docs. So that's why what they used to do is they used to take a signature on a rubber stamp paper and they used to impress. So thereby it is nothing but the signature made by the principal. So this is the easy way. You can take the signature in a rubber stamp of the principal and you can press that, and thereby the signature, it means that the principal had signed on that. So digital signature, because it is nothing but a digital era, and all the people, okay, some schools, they are following this digital schools. They are showing that on the screen. They are showing this is apple, this is an orange, this is dog, this is cat, like that they are showing. And people, by seeing that, okay, they can able to remember. And in olden days, they used to keep the charts and they used to show this is orange, this is apple, this is dog, this is cat, like that they used to. But now, just picturization, just picturization and showing them on the screen. It is nothing but a digital thing. In the same way, digital signature also, if you take into account, you can keep that signature for any document. So for that, the information technology it is needed. So this is about the history of information technology. Now we are going to take into account the scope of this information technology. The scope or applicability of Information Technology Act of 2000 are as follows. It applies to online transactions in India and outside India. Online transactions, whatever they are going through electronics, online, it is very, very useful. It will be very helpful. And at the same time, the same thing, Information Technology Act of 2000, it won't be applied to some items. First thing is negotiable instruments. Okay, according to 13, according to section 13 of Negotiable Instruments Act of 1881, it is not useful. Okay, it won't prepare the check or it won't prepare the DD or it won't go for promissory note or it won't give you the bills of exchange. Compulsory, they must be done by the human beings. Okay, there the applicability of information technology is not required and it won't apply. So the first one is negotiable instruments. According to section 13 of, okay, India Negotiable Instruments Act of 1981, it is not applicable. And power of attorney. According to section 1A of power of attorney of Act of 1892, 1882, sorry, 1882, this information technology it won't helpful. You see, power of attorney means giving power to another person. It must be written. You cannot use that. You cannot use that. You may ask me, sir, we can take a printout and we can. But thing is, this Information Technology Act, it won't have that power. Even though you take a copy, it must be signed by the person who is giving the power, and it must also be signed by the person to whom the power was entrusted. Then only it is valid. It cannot keep the signature of the person and two persons. So there it is not applicable. Next, to a contract of sale of immovable property. Immovable property, that is land, buildings. Okay, all these things, they are immovable property. So when you go for this Information Technology Act, it won't be useful. Okay, it won't be useful. So this is how you'll come across about the scope of. Okay, for online transactions, it will help us, and it won't help to Negotiable Instruments Act and Power of Attorney Act, as well as sale of immovable properties. It won't be applicable. Now, after that, we are going for the objectives of information technology. What are the objectives? Okay, everything must have some objectives, goals. The main aim of the act is to provide legal recognition for transactions which are conducted in electronic format via electronic data interchange. The main aim, the main objective encourage is to recognize and encourage, to provide legal recognition. Okay, and legally it must be approved. Legal recognition for transactions which are conducted in electronic format via electronic data interchange. The key objectives which are enshrined in the preamble of the act are as follows. What are the other objectives? Other objectives: to provide legal recognition to all e-commerce transactions. Legal recognition. So you may ask me, sir, whether we are not having this recognition. No, we are not. So we have to recognize, the court of law. It must recognize, yes, this is okay, this is done, this is to be done like that. The court must accept that. Then only you will come across the legal recognition for this. Second one, to encourage and facilitate e-governance. Third one, to encourage and facilitate e-commerce, electronic commerce transactions. To encourage the use of electronic storage of data and information as a eco-friendly alternative instead of paper-based storage. Yeah, when you want to store the information, when you want to store the information, okay, previously we are having the paper-based storage, but now no one they are having. No one they are going for paper, use of paper. And one more disadvantage is the paper, okay, the availability of paper or the supply of paper is very, very low. Because everywhere we are cutting the forests, we are making them, okay, seized, and we are constructing the buildings. So when there are no forests, there is no chance for us to cultivate bamboos. Okay, paper pulp. We'll get paper pulp from bamboo trees. So when we cannot able to grow the bamboo cultivation, bamboo sticks cultivation, we won't get this paper pulp. And people, what they are doing is, whatever it may be, the paper that is available, they are cycling that, recycling, and they are. So the availability of paper pulp and paper, it is not there. And moreover, due to climatic conditions or by germs or by insects, whatever it may be, the paper is not in a good position. So that's why people, they shifted from paper storage to this electronic storage. Okay. to make the following amendments in the Indian Penal Code, IPC, Indian Penal Code, the Indian Evidence Act of 1872, the Bankers Book Act of 1891, the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Okay, these are the things that we have to change. Okay, years together we are having the old this thing. When we are having the old this thing, okay, they are not suitable for present situation. So there should be a amendments. So this Electronic Information Technology Act of 2000, it provides an amendment to Indian Penal Code. Okay, next one is Indian Evidence Act of 1872. Next, the Bankers Book Act of 1891, the Reserve Bank of India Act of 1934. So you with this you can bring some amendments to these acts to look into and resolve the matters arising as a result of the above mentioned objectives. To look into and resolve the matters arising as a result of the above mentioned objectives. The IT Act was passed to bring change in the modern law of electronic commerce, which was adopted by the UN Commission on International Trade Law. See, when other people, when they are United Nations people, when they are following this system, why don't we? What is the problem with us? This thing you have to take and you have to do that accordingly. Next, to manage national and international level of cyber crimes. See, people they are misusing this usage of computers or this information technology. In order to curtail them, okay, this Information Technology Act of 2000 it is helping us to provide legal sanction for transferring of funds from one place to another. Okay, when we want to give money in olden days, we have to send a check, we have to convert the money into a check, and we have to use the checks, and that too also we must be very careful. Nowadays, at present, transferring of funds from one company, from one person to another person, or from one company to another company, it became very very easy, very easy. If you are having the cell phone and you can able to do that within seconds or within minutes. So the exist to provide legal sanction for transferring of funds, to facilitate government departments in electronic filing of documents. Electronic filing. Okay, the paper filing it is over. There, when you go for this paper filing, you used to purchase big boxes, and there you have to keep all the papers, and you have to keep them. I mean, which is very highly difficult for us to store, and more time consuming, more space occupying. All these box files you have to keep them in a safe manner. So these box files they used to occupy the space. So here, instead of that, if you go for electronic this thing, you can easily record the time and transactions or whatever it may be, the proceedings. Okay, and you can keep them, you can file them. So to facilitate government departments in an electronic filing of documents, this is about the things that we come across. Okay, now I am stopping here, and again I'm going to continue this. Please go through this, and if it is good, please subscribe to my channel. And I'm going in my own way, I'm not copying, and I'm not taking into account any person's this thing. Okay, please go through this, and if you satisfy, please subscribe to my channel. That's all I request all of you.